Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel or our website. Reach out to me directly. It's in the description, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a 2017 launch. This is the Romain Gauthier Insight Micro-Rotor, a limited edition of 10 pieces in platinum. Now the timepiece is easy to wear. Romain Gauthier builds timepieces in the tradition of the valet de jeu, but that doesn't mean you're going to wear a pocket watch on your wrist. 39.5 millimeters in diameter, the timepiece is 12.8 millimeters thick by a very reasonable 48.8 millimeters lug-to-lug with a standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Let's throw it on my wrist real quick. You do feel the platinum. It is my favorite material for a watch because it's discreet in appearance and has a wonderful precious metal pull on the wrist. You can see the timepiece features wonderfully curved lugs, which are welded on, by the way. Premium case construction, and it fits a treat, easily arcing around the edges of a small wrist. You can wear this watch on a 13.5 centimeter circumference wrist. Now let's take a quick look at the hardware and the software here. You can see that Romain Gauthier features a large rectangular scale alligator leather strap in navy blue with a monotone stitch that's slightly lighter for a handsome contrast, a folded edge, and then a more conventional calf skin on the bottom. You can see that the lugs are drilled relatively close to the case to close the pivot centers of the strap side to side, allowing you to wear it more easily on a small wrist, but curved spring bars prevent it from being impinged upon by the side of the case. The watch features a black polished white gold, highly customized Romain Gauthier pin buckle, and one feature I like is that it features an elevated bridge, so when the strap is inside the buckle, it sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up underneath. That's the advantage of an elevated bridge. I mentioned that the lugs are welded on, and you can see that to good effect. That incredibly sharp break between the concave surface of the case flank and the profile of the lug is achieved by welding a separate piece to the case to create the hole, and that sharp break between them is achieved by hand finishing and removing evidence of the welded joint. Artisanal case making, and that's just the start. You can see that it's a handsome and complex form with a dished, almost bowl-like concave profile to the mirrored lugs, and then the same kind of concave compound curved form that encircles the case, meaning the case is effectively thinner at its base than at its bezel. The bezel has a very small double lip at the edge of the case, and then you can see that there are two different undulations, one which is concave and one which is domed, so there appears to be a double step to the bezel. You can see at about 2 o'clock on what would conventionally be the dial, there is a Romain Gauthier polished and media blasted crown used for setting and winding, and then there's the dial, and this is where things get exciting. The case is impressive. The dial is out of this world. Sub-registers for the hours, minutes, and seconds, you can see up at 12 o'clock, are blue Grand Faux enamel, and then we have a movement that is effectively one and the same as the dial. I count on this dial 7 sharp interior angles where 2 beveled sides meet and create that sharp inward cleft. That is, along with black polishing, the single most difficult element of hand finishing a watch, and you get 7 of them just on the dial. I've seen Geneva hallmark movements that have 0. There's also a lovely frosted finish across the top of every bridge, as well as the plate, and this is evocative of the pocket watch era. Again, Romain Gauthier with one foot set in the past, one in the present, and an eye towards the future. There is some pocket watch heritage in the design of this movement. The bevels are huge, and they are all done by hand. They are the kind that are so broad and mirrored you don't need a loop to appreciate them. There are polished chapter rings for the individual dials, and then you can see the hands themselves are manually crafted to create that bright polish and a three-dimensional lofted profile that a flat cut hand would not have. All of the screw heads are black polished, and you'll note there's an S shape to the screw. These are proprietary screws that are designed to allow the watchmaker to apply more torque without shearing the slot. You'll note that there is a simple Romain Gauthier logo plate, and then the 22-karat white gold micro-rotor itself. Note that it uses a jeweled staff rather than a bearing. Bidirectional winding with a jeweled staff means this one winds silently and without any wobble. If you look closely, you can actually see the keyless works right underneath the hours and minutes sub-register adjacent to the crown. Now the balance is on a full balance bridge and free sprung, so it's highly shock resistant, and you can just about see the variable polar moment nuts that are fixed to the balance wheel. All adjustments are executed using those nuts. They're turned inward or outward. They are eccentric weights. So free sprung with a full bridge makes this a remarkably tough movement. Automatic winding, it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, pivots on 33 joules, and it has an 80-hour power reserve courtesy of twin mainspring barrels. Now the mainspring barrels here are in series, which allows for a very even torque release from maximum wind to minimum wind, so you don't get the same degree of amplitude fluctuation from full wind to empty that you get on a standard watch. Once again, you can see many interior angles on this case back, and the signature recursive circle design of Romain Gauthier wheels. You will also see this design on the wheels for high horology Chanel brand pieces, because Romain Gauthier is an engineering and parts supplier to Chanel high horology. This is as good as it gets in terms of design, innovation, ergonomics, rarity, and finish. The best of everything in a 30-meter water-resistant case. This is the Romain Gauthier Insight Micro-Rotor, 10 pieces in platinum. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com to own a watch from perhaps the most underrated independent.